Mr. Stickermania from Louisville, Kentucky. Wednesday night live stream, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's what we are here in Louisville, Kentucky. We got Sticker Grandson going to help out on check the messages. How's it going out there today?
Wolfie Baby's Loving Records. Hi, Frank. Hi,
How you doing, Wolfie Baby?
Uncle Paul's Beat Up Pop Playhouse. Hello, everyone. Looking forward to joining you and Mikey on September 10th.
September 10th.
And then Polly. Hi, Stickermania. Hi, Stickermania family and everyone watching. Get a like.
All right.
Or give a like.
So September 10th, Every Little Beatles episode number 12, I think, with Mikey Arugula and Uncle Paul from Uncle Paul's Beatles Pop Playhouse. Give him a subscribe to his channel. Put out some good content.
And we were just talking about this person, but go ahead and do the comments. Hold
on. Gaslights, Sub Stickermania, a little Beatles Corner. Hello, everybody.
Thomas Crook. Hi, Thomas Crook.
And then Daniel Castillo. Hi, Frank. Sorry I haven't been at the lives. In vacation on Italy.
All right.
And then Jeff Cooley. Howdy, Frank. David Evans. Hi. Hey, Frank. It's Sticker.
How you doing, David Evans?
Yeah, Daniel, we were just talking about you, that we hadn't seen you in a while. I hope you had a good trip to Italy.
Italy. I went to Rome one day, and that was about it on a trip to Greece and Australia.
I went to Rome and Venice with your dad.
Novus Nick. Hello, Frank.
How you doing, Novus Nick? What did he say?
He said, hello, Frank and Sticker family.
All right. Show a few things on the table. I got a few notes here.
One more.
There's on YouTube, there's somebody that's listened to in depth the differences between the 1990s anthology and the 2025, and he says there's a lot of differences between the two. So we'll see when it comes out. The tracks were streamed for a few days, but I think they've been taken down by the Beatles channel, the YouTube channel. Rick Beato did a 30-minute video on how perfect that We Can Work It Out by the Beatles is from 1965. He says that the vocals and Lennon's harmonium that he's playing is just perfect. And Ringo's drummings, it just all adds to the magic of that song. We Can Work It Out. And the Beatles were at their peak, 64, 65, and recording. I listened to today my German pressing of Revolver when I was doing my mini trampoline workout. Boy, it's got to rank up there in my top 3 Beatle albums of all time now, Revolver. Wow. What an album. Got any messages?
William Powell, hello Frank. I'm seeing some nice items on the table.
Yep.
And then Daniel Castillo, nope, I'll start being a regular again when I get back in September.
Oh, you're not back yet.
And then do the last one, go.
And then Gaslights, I'm sorry, but are those Birch's babies on your t-shirt?
Yep, they are. This was made by T-Shirt Express.
Yeah, you got one.
T-Shirt Express.
You got that one. This one in black.
And he's got a black one on. Both Polly made both of them. T-Shirt Express, Staten Island, near New York. What other notes do I have? Wings of Pegasus has a YouTube video. He really goes after vocals that have been pitch corrected and auto-tuned. But I think it happens in almost everything now. They said John Lennon's voice from 1972 on the Come Together live track has been pitch corrected and auto-tuned a bunch. So I'm just going to stick with playing my live in New York City from the 80s. I really want to hear how John Lennon really sounded on those tracks. Clear the table off here. Sold the George Harrison today. Paint. You call this paint by numbers a portrait. Paint your own Beatle. Made by Artistic Creations in LA, 1964. This is my sealed Ringo Starr. Ringo Starr was the first number 102. I've never figured out who 101 is, but it wasn't one of the Beatles. But this is on my STICKERMANIA 2853 eBay store. I put it up today at, I think, $1,800. That is a fragile piece. All right, let's put that out of the way. Got this in today, another Recording the Beatles book from 2006. One of the best research books ever put out. How the Beatles recorded all their great tracks and all the equipment they used to record it. And it has original bonus materials with it. That's up on my STICKERMANIA 2853 store also. And somebody got a hold of me through my Yahoo email today about these portraits that I'm going to talk about. Mr_STICKERMANIA at yahoo.com. All right, let's get this heavy book off here.
Just give it here. I got it.
There's the bonus material.
Here.
Couple
Babies Loving Records. Who wrote that book, Frank?
Kevin Ryan and Brian Eshue. Gregory Fio said they did a lot of research to write that book. Couple of ticket stubs that I got in. I got this 64. I'm going to have some Rolling Stone prints to go with this in the next couple weeks. Rolling Stones, October 24th at the Academy of Music. It says it's in New York City on the ticket stub. Mikey Ruglo tried to tell me this is Brooklyn, but I don't know if Brooklyn and New York City. I thought they were two different cities. Somebody will have to correct me, but it says New York City, the ticket stub. And then Queens, New York, when the Beatles played the big first Rock Stadium show, August 15th, 1965 at Shea Stadium. Original slab ticket stub that's got it graded 1.5. And let's talk about these photos. So somebody was asking me, because I've been putting some prints of the Rolling Stones at the Peppermint Lounge and the Rolling Stones at the don't see it right there. Rolling Stones on the Les Crane show on my eBay store. And he was interested in original prints. These are made from the original negatives that I got from the, show me that Connie Denay book. Rolling Stones 5, Rolling Stones 4, Rolling Stones 3. Couldn't even mention them by their names. First day they were in America. A serious Charlie Watts. And that's the Connie Denavi book. And I got a lot of photos from her estate. Now these are all original photos from the 60s by famous photographers that I got from her collection. So this has got Popsy on the back. And that's William Randolph, that was a famous photographer that photographed music artists from the 40s to the 70s in New York City. And he was at the Kennedy Airport on June 2nd, 1964, and got a photo of the Rolling Stones when they first being interviewed at the airport. And this is also stamped by Popsy on the back. And that's the second time they came to America. And there they are with Connie DeNavi when she became in charge of their public relations. She wasn't in charge on their first tour of America, but she was on the second. So these are original photos taken by famous photographers that are worth more than just making a print from the negative. These are the real deal. And then Dezo Hoffman, who photographed a lot of the Beatles' first covers on album covers, like Please Please Me and some of their EPs. Well, it says photographer Dezo Hoffman on the back of this from England. So he took this photo of the animals. The beginning of the animals before they came to America, with there up top with Alan Price. And we got the Yardbirds. That's from a photographer, Clifford Jones, in London. It's stamped on the back, Clifford Jones. That's original photo with when Jimmy Page just joined the group, way over here. And you got Jeff Beck, the shorter guitarist, there in the middle. This is a original promo, Capitol Records, that Connie had in her file cabinet of the Beach Boys, when Brian Wilson was still touring with the group. That didn't last very long. Got a couple of original photos from ABC television in London of Freddie and the Dreamers on TV. This one even comes in the original, that was the original sleeve they had to protect him over the years that she had in her file cabinet. TV Photos Incorporated out of 45th Street, New York, New York. She lived and had her offices in New York most all her life. And one more, Cosmo Photographers Incorporated out of New York City, West 57th Street. Original photo of John Lennon and Yoko Ono on the 1975 Grammys, when John Lennon gave an award away, and Connie DeNavi was in charge of keeping the paparazzi in line so they didn't bug the music stars very much at all. So you had Bowie and Elton John and Paul Simon. You had a lot of people at that Grammys. Those are original photos from the 1960s. Any questions?
Mm-hmm.
This is was in Connie DeNavi's big scrapbook. Show me that big scrapbook behind the chair.
Oh, my back.
I pulled this Carnegie Hall of the Rolling Stones out of this large, this was her personal scrapbook that was in her file cabinet. You've seen before the big photo of Frank Sinatra and Max Baer from the early 50s. But this was pulled out of that scrapbook. I didn't win the negatives of the Rolling Stones at Carnegie Halls. I think somebody that represented the Rolling Stones got the negatives. before the auction even started. Because all of a sudden I wasn't the highest bidder when the auction started. That's a pretty rare photos, because if you look on the internet, there's hardly any photos, or they're real blurry, of the Rolling Stones at Carnegie Hall. In Rockaway Records, Wayne Johnson, on his want list, he will pay $25,000 if somebody has the original poster for the Rolling Stones on June 20th, 1964 at Carnegie Hall. $25,000. Chapel Roan was at Reading last weekend, UK, at the United Kingdom, at the Reading Festival, the same place The Who played 55 years ago. And she was dressed up as Miss Dracula. It's a really cool outfit. You need to check it out. And she had 90,000 people all doing hot to go there during the show. So there aren't too many people that can pull that off. She learned when she got her motive from being a front person like that from Freddie Mercury of Queen and David Bowie. The Rockaway Records has something up for sale that's pretty cool. He has the White Album number 3, number 7, and number 8 numbers, the early White Albums. And how much do you think he wants for that? How about $200,000? Show some things here. Here's how the Beatles' second album was released. This was late 1963 in England on Parlophone. This is a mono pressing. And then the same time, it was released Beatlemania with the Beatles in Canada. And then a couple months later, in January of 1964 in the United States, it was released at Meet the Beatles with some differences in the tracks. There was 12 tracks on this pressing, and there were 14 on both of the UK and the Canada. So that's the difference. As you can see, the tints are a little bit different, and the United States has a blue tint added to it. We'll go to Oasis. Concert Buddy's going to see him in Chicago this weekend. It must be Friday or Saturday. Oasis has come to the United States. Let's see if the brothers can get along for a few more shows. I'm sure they will with all that money that they're making. Got another one of these Beatles Christmas record boxes from 2017. This is original, the first pressing from '63 that I showed. With a white label flexi disc. That's on my STICKERMANIA 2853 store. That's the very first original pressing of a Beatles Christmas record. It's got a little flap there and staples that aren't rusted. Mikey's got this. Mikey Arugula bought one of these from me. But this is a 2017 box set. It came out, what would that have been, 8 years ago. And all the records, the colored vinyl is still sealed inside. It's almost the Christmas time here coming up. It sure isn't as hot this week as it's been. It's been about 75 degrees. I think it got down to 50 last night. That's the last one, 1969. Got the original booklet on there. And it's got the hype sticker. They took off the wrap, the shrink wrap, and put it on the box. Butcher cover, go with my shirt. The last butcher cover that I peeled hasn't sold yet on my STICKERMANIA 2853 store, but it will here in the next week. There's about 25 watchers. A Scranton number 2 East Coast with the water-based glue that I can peel the steam peel the trunk slick off with. Everybody's quiet tonight.
Woofy Baby's 11 records. Is that Vito's Christmas box worth more unopened or NOS?
It's not as worth as much if it was completely sealed, but all the albums, all the records, colored vinyl, red, blue, green, everything's sealed inside it. I put it up on my STICKERMANIA 2853 store. I'd sell it for $150 shipped through my YouTube channel if you're interested, Woofy Baby. Butcher cover. So this is a 3rd state butcher cover that's been peeled. I have a 1st state and a 2nd state, but they're locked up in my vault. And this is a 4th state butcher that does not have a butcher cover underneath it. So within a week, they were already pressing the 4 states that didn't have a butcher underneath there because it's only 60 or 70,000 that were pasted over and the rest were destroyed. So you didn't know when the album was number 1 if you were getting a butcher cover or not back then. But the butcher cover has been trimmed 3/16 of an inch over there on the side, so for our inventory purposes, Capitol Records could tell which ones had the butcher covers underneath. Talked about the John Lennon, talked about pictures of Peter and Gordon. Just got these back from yesterday from the camera shop. So these are made from little slides like this. And they were able to give me color photos from 1965 of Peter and Gordon in the New York City area that Connie DeNavi must have had a photographer take pictures of them. So the manager of Peter Asher, if he reaches out to me, he has my email. I will send a set of these prints to Peter Asher. That's a pretty cool photo of Peter and Gordon standing in front of a building there in New York City. Here's a few more. It looks like they're on the roof of one of the buildings in New York City. Look at that red hair that Peter Asher had back at the time. This is a time period when he was living with Paul McCartney up on the top 4th floor of their Peter's parents' house, and Paul McCartney wrote "Yesterday" up there on that top floor.
Wolfie Baby's Love and Records. I already bought that from you about a year and a half ago entirely sealed. Still haven't opened it yet, the Christmas.
Gotcha.
And then Rob Shakir Music, very nice photos of Peter and Gordon.
Thanks. I think they turned out really good. I'm going to get some other color slides made from other British invasion groups. I'm going to get some other prints made. So now I know how good they can make them from these 35 millimeter slides. They can make great photos out of them.
A little Beatles corner. Frank, do you have any single UK BC 13 LPs?
I have a funny you mention that, from Rockaway Records. When he bought that big Beatles collection in the Chicago area, he bought a BC sealed BC box from 1978 that's numbered. And it's sealed and it has a gold title sticker on the back, and it has a number right over here. It's a little different color, but I'll have that for Saturday's live stream. The only sealed one I have right now is Sgt. Pepper left that I said I'd sell for $100 shipped. You know that it's a sealed 78 when it has that sticker down there. Imported from England by Capitol Records. But Patricia, if you don't have Sgt. Pepper, I'd sell that for $100 shipped. But I have a whole sealed box set coming in for Saturday, but I don't know. I don't think I'll be opening it up. But all the albums will be sealed inside. So I got these photos also back yesterday from the March 1965 Hullabaloo show, when the Animals was what Connie was worried about getting photos of. But there's a picture of Sammy Davis Jr. He was the host. Shows all the album covers behind him. There's the Animals doing Bring It On Home to Me. Alan Price was still in the group. You can see a couple of the dancers behind him. There's Jay and the Americans. Some of these, they show them rehearsing. There's Sammy Davis Jr. with no shirt on, rehearsing with the go-go dancers. Dusty Springfield, she sang a couple songs on that episode. If you like Dusty Springfield, her big hits were Wishing and Hoping and Son of a Preacher Man. There's Sammy Davis relaxing with the Animals when they were just rehearsing for the go-go section at the end of the show, where they sang I'm Crying. And there they are singing the song on the show. They got their regular clothes on there, and they got all dressed up in their suits for the performance, and the go-go dancers are all dancing there.
Being like Scarlet.
This is how normally.
What else we got to
The
show?
Little Beatles corner, is that a UK BC 13 question mark, and then Sgt. Pepper question mark? I will look after this.
Well, the Sgt. Pepper is a UK stereo pressing from '78, and the sealed box set I got coming in is a UK numbered that has all sealed albums inside it with that sticker, and it'll have the unique white album poster, and it'll have the Rarities album that's only in the blue paper sleeve. That was the first 3,000 box sets. I got number 468 coming in. A couple purchases I made in the last week I'll have maybe by Saturday. There was an online auction where they had a whole lot of Beatles memorabilia from Cincinnati from August of 1964 when they played the Cincinnati Gardens. And the auctioneer kind of just threw the magazines and the trading cards on top of the real memorabilia. There was a handbook from WASI. Show me that one picture there.
No one.
WASI radio station in Cincinnati. And so there's a Beatles handbook, and there's a interview flexi disc record where the Beatles press conference from Indianapolis and Cincinnati from August 27th. So all that stuff was buried by the trading cards, and I got it pretty cheap. So hopefully I'll have that by Saturday. But this is from the original negatives of the Gordon Byer. He autographed it there. He was a photographer when the Beatles played the Crosley Field in 1966. Pretty sure the date was August 20th or 21st. I think it got rained out on the 20th. And then show me that other photo. There's John Lennon from the original negative of Gordon Byer performing underneath they put a tarp up because they were afraid they were going to be electrocuted because it was raining the next day too. They played Sunday at noon, and then they went to Busch Stadium in St. Louis and played Sunday evening. 2 shows in 2 different cities in one day. Only the Beatles could pull off something like that. They were busy bees there in 63, 64, 65. Rubber Soul, Magical Mystery Tour. I sold my sealed Some Girls. This is the first pressing with the hype sticker, with all the women that didn't want to be on the cover. This is on my STICKERMANIA 2853 store. This one's not sealed, but it's in near mint condition. My sealed one went for $188, went out today. Anthology 2, Anthology 3, which we're all talking about Anthology. There's the original flats for Anthology 2. Shea Stadium. And then the Anthology 3. There's the Rubber Soul original cover from England. This is a military export from the early 70s. They discounted at half price for the military, so it was suggested $4.98, and they got it for $2.50 at the military base. But you can see how the Let It Be photos, they pulled out Paul McCartney and replaced it with a photo from Rubber Soul. So that's a mystery why they did that. Any questions on anything?
No.
So this before, I don't think I've shown it for a while, my Led Zeppelin first one from the United Kingdom with the turquoise. And the band didn't like it, and it got quickly changed with the orange lettering instead of the turquoise. This is a USA pressing, which came out first, and then 2 months later, it was released like in England like that. This only lasted less than a few days. The band hated that color. The Led Zeppelin Houses of Holy, that's sealed with the belly band and the hype sticker for Dire Maker. There's a YouTube channel that debating one of the best Led Zeppelin albums, and they were really leaning towards Houses of Holy as being one of the better ones. I'm a sucker for the Beatles from 63 to 66. My Beatles for sale, -1, -2 cut. And there's still a debate on that nobody's for sure if that's Tony Bramwell's hand there or thumb, or if that's just some foliage. I guess nobody will know for sure. Tony Bramwell's not with us no more. Maybe Bruce Spicer is going to have to do his investigated research into that little issue. But that's a 2-cut, -1 stereo. That's the way you want it on Beatles for sale, stereo pressing. It really plays nice on my Macintosh 5100 amp I have that magnetic tape recorder restored for me in the last 6 months. My Revolver really sounded great on it today. Tomorrow never knows. Let I could go down these tracks. Taxman, Eleanor Rigby, I'm Only Sleeping, Here, There, and Everywhere. She Said, I Skipped Yellow Submarine, there, Mikey. Good Day, Sunshine, and Your Bird Can Sing with No Laughing, For No One. Dr. Robert, Got to Get You in My Life, and what a great song, Tomorrow Never Knows, so far ahead of its time. That's the way, the ultimate way to hear Revolver before auto-tuned and everything changed everything in the year 1999. That's the way you want to hear the Beatles, their true magic with their flaws. Magical Mystery Tour, the other pressing from Germany, 77. -1, -3, true stereo, where they asked Abbey Road for new 1:1 30-inch copy tape, and they did their magic with their Neumann lathe, and they had the best equipment in the world in Australia and Germany in the late 1970s to master albums.
A little Beatles corner said they would take that UK Sgt. Pepper for $100.
All right, got that. I'll pull that off of eBay. Thanks a lot, Patricia. Better put that over by the door so I don't mess up on that. Talked about the German pressings. Let's talk about a few more things. Got any questions? You better want to be on here about 10 more minutes. You got any questions? Bring them up now. You know, Mikey Arugula bought my Paramount a lot. That includes that big banner, With Love From Us to You. Mikey's trying to get some pictures when the Beatles played the Paramount to see if he can see that anywhere in a picture. It says Love, Yeah, and Gear on it. And she made handmade paintings that are really good of Paul, Ringo, George, and John. Spent a lot of time on that banner. Let's see, we talked about Mazzy last time. Some imports. My BBC library from the United Kingdom of a 1970s pressing of Band on the Run. I've sold most of my BBC, but these are the only two I got left. And McCartney 2, 1980. And it's got the BBC Gramophone Library sticker right on the label. I saw there's a short video on YouTube of Paul McCartney singing a little bit of Temporary Secretary with a Fan. So that's pretty cool. And this is the French special disco mix, late 70s when disco mixes were big. Wings, Beware My Love on one side and Let 'Em In on the other side. That's a cool sleeve from France, I think. Special disco mix. That's my Paul McCartney moment. I don't know if I showed these yet. My Herman albums I have in that are in this great shape. Hold On, that's a mono pressing of the album or the movie soundtrack. The movie they made in here in the United States, MGM, when Peter Noon was only 17 or something. He's coming to Abbey Road on the River next summer for Memorial Day. He's the headliner, Peter Noon. And the Cow Seals are coming also. And that's a stereo pressing of both sides of Herman Hermits. And if you look on the back of this cover, it's got the 4 Beatles here in the audience with a LBJ and the Chinaman, Khrushchev, Barbara Streisand with the big nose. Pretty cool picture. We showed those photos. This is the last picture sleeve ever made for the Beatles, the last single. I don't think it was released in the United Kingdom. Long and Winding Road went to #1 in the United States, even with the Phil Spector produced mix.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, yeah, so you can call Kevin, his friend Kevin.
Okay, just making sure.
And I know it's a long message, but it's his friend Kevin, so that's fine.
You did that on the channel?
Kevin just wrote something.
Does he want me to say?
Kevin said, I'm bringing Grady the Wonder Dog on a live show in the morning on Channel 32 TV talking about the big event Under the Bridge Saturday. Grady will pick out the real Introducing the Beatles album.
All right. Kevin from Kevin Records. He's my local partner in crime.
From him.
There will be 2 Introducing the Beatles albums, and Grady will put his paw on the counterfeit.
All right. I know where you got the real one there from, Kevin. Might have got it from me.
Woofy Baby.
And then Woofy Baby's Loving Records. If you go hanging pictures of Chairman Mayo.
Chairman Mao.
Yeah.
Oh, that's talking about the lyric and revolution. Beatles Revolution. What's your favorite revolution? Is it Revolution 1? Is it the flip side of Hey Jude? Is it the video track where Paul and George are singing background vocals? Or is it Revolution number 9? I kind of doubt if it's Revolution number 9. So the Badfinger, this is a UK pressing of Badfinger Straight Up. It's in played condition, so it's not real valuable, but I had one of these that was near mint before that I think Dave Evans bought from me. Straight Up. Who produced Straight Up? 2 people. George did 4 tracks, George Harrison, and he was busy, and Todd Rundgren had to take over to finish the album. They sent in some tracks, the recorded tracks that Apple turned down. They said they had to re-record them, and that's when they got Todd Rundgren involved. Great album from 1972. My Can't Buy Me Love picture sleeve. Stock copy Can't Buy Me Love near mint picture sleeve with an excellent hardly played record. See if I can pull that out of here. This was the third song of the Beatles to be #1 when they were #1 for 16 weeks in a row. I Want to Hold Your Hand, She Loves You, and then Can't Buy Me Love. Went straight to #1 in 2 weeks.
Dave Evans, the Badfinger album is spectacular.
Yep. That I haven't put that up on my STICKERMANIA 2853 store, but that is $1,800 shipped. Somebody's interested in on my Mr. Sticker. Give me the white one. Get a hold of me at Mr._StickerMania@yahoo.com. Why is this picture sleeve so valuable? Because they made one pressing of like 100,000 sleeves, and then the album the record all of a sudden was going to sell 3-4 million, and Capitol Records didn't see any point in making any more picture sleeves, so they just sold them out of that stock company sleeve. The rarest stock copy picture sleeve of the Beatles that exists in the United States. And here's the other She Loves You, that was #1. That's a song that somebody from a young generation, she got interviewed on Beatles Tone channel the other day. She's 22, and she said when she was 4 years old, she heard this song, and she couldn't believe how good it was. Like 20 years ago, 18 years ago, she heard She Loves You for the first time. She goes, boy, I got to figure out who they are. It's one of my favorite Beatles songs, too. All right, I got a Tommy and a Who's Next. I think Dave Evans, or no, Dave Evans does have. I think this is a lady out on the West Coast bought my first pressing. This is a second pressing of Who's Next from England. Well, you want to hear the UK, the Who's albums, they didn't, by the time they sent the master tapes over the United States, they weren't the same quality as they were in England. This is a A4 B4 matrices.
Kevin said, how many paste over Butcher albums are still undiscovered?
I discover a couple every week that people do online auctions and don't even know they have a Butcher cover. So there's got to be another 20,000 or so that haven't been discovered yet. There's a original songbook for 1970 for Tommy the Who. Tommy, you heard that the Who's going on their last tour. Supposedly song is over, and they canceled a gig the other day. It upset a lot of people. Can you imagine flying to a big town, spending all that money, and finding out that the show has been canceled or postponed? There's Pete Townsend with his big nose. Those are my favorite two Who albums. What are yours? Tommy and Who's Next? All right. We talked about the Wingdings last time. Show them one more time. I traded my high top sneakers to the Beetle dealer on the East Coast. I'll see him next year in New Jersey. This is a size 5.5 women's, and yeah, 5.5 women's. Got the original wing-ding tissue paper in there. That's about 60 years old. Got this from Mazzy. You guys all know who Mazzy is. Show me that book way over there, Beatles in England. In the original box. I guess at the first Beatle Fest in 1974, there was a dealer that had a whole warehouse find of these. Like 100 of them. Sold at the first Beatle Fest in 1974 in New York City. I don't think Mazzy was at the first one. He went to a lot of them in LA. Mazzy was at the one where Alan Livingston's son brought in the first 8 butcher covers that were in Alan, the president of Capitol Records, in his closet. There were 24 of them that were in his closet for 20 years. There's Mazzy, 1982, and David Bacon that were authors of this book. All right, I think that about does it for Louisville, Kentucky. Hopefully I get some things in for Saturday, some of the scrapbooks and my sealed BC-13 that I can show on Saturday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks a lot, Sticker grandson, for helping out, and my son behind the camera. We'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.